Hey guys, welcome back to Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. My name is Dylan, and this is a thank you letter and a card showcase. This is a thank you letter to all the grading companies out there. I love graded baseball cards. I think that they equalized, I say this all the time, they equalized the hobby. They made it equal for all to participate. And for all people who shy or unshy or outgoing, it's an equal playing territory. And you can put in as much as you want and take as much as you want. Meaning you can break the code and pick up cards that are really, really good eye appeal in low grades that just look outstanding, that look like 8s and 9s and 7s and 10s. For a fraction of the price if you open your eyes. As a kid, we didn't have that chance. A card was the price of what it was in the Beckett. Any old 1962 Topps card of, Roger Maris, because I'm going to show some Roger Maris cards in this, were the same price, give or take. I mean, if it looked like it was mint, it was a mint price. If it looked like it was bent in half, it was a bent in half price. But they were all high, and they're all based off the thing. Like, they would be like, Beckett says it's $250, and then they'd slash it and put $100, even if it was bent in half. Now, I know there were more professional collectors back in the day. They were older collectors who realized that cards that were well-centered and perfectly mint condition, PSA standard style, like, they found those cards, and there was elite collectors like that. But as a kid collector in the 90s, I didn't know about them. No one told me. No one taught me anything. So as soon as grading cards came into existence, when I found out about them around 95, 96, it was on. Like, it was on like Donkey Kong. Like, dude, I could buy vintage cards and not worry about if they're authentic. I could start like, I want pack fresh. I started buying different grades and looking at them and realizing, okay, I love PSA 7s. They look like they came out of a pack. I wasn't worried about centering. It was all like, corners look sharp, image look good. Boom, these came out of a pack. I just loved graded cards for that reason. I didn't need anyone. I could do it by myself in my house and not have a single opinion from anyone. And I never did have a single opinion about baseball cards from anyone until a year and a half ago when I got on YouTube, or 2 years now, or maybe a little more when I listened to the podcast. But really, that was it. All before all this huge giant collection that I built in PSA 7s, I went lower on some cards, but mostly PSA 7s were like just buying the 7 and not even looking at the card, literally buying them from the pit, not even looking at the card, just PSA 7, type it in and put it in my vault and then ship it to my house at some point. So what I do now, thanks to grading, is I've learned and I've garnered knowledge from people on YouTube, podcast, Instagram, and I've put it in my brain and realized I want centered baseball cards. I want the image to look perfect and the card to be centered like the actual Topps designer, the artist who created these cards, wanted the card to look like. They didn't want it to be off-centered. My wife would never let me sell off-centered artwork, off-centered framed, off-cut. I cut these art prints out. We do this stuff. If they're off-centered, they're going in the trash. That's just how it is. But back then, it's hard to do cards centered no matter what. So that's where my mind is gone, is realizing from my wife telling me, like, once I got on YouTube, I said, hey, can you look at my wall? What do you think about these cards? I mean, I had cards displayed my whole life with her, 15 years in the pantry and everything, but she never looked at them once because I never asked her to look at them. Once I got on YouTube, I asked her to look at them, and she said, they all look off-centered to me. And that was after I was already, looking at people, realizing, like Maddie C on Instagram, how they collected cards and what their cards look like. And I thought their 4s looked like 9s and 10s. They look perfect. And I'm like, wow, I could pay a portion of what it is. And you know why I can pay a portion? Because of grading. Whether PSA manipulated our brains and made us want PSA 9s and 10s and all that, I get that too. But as a collector who's been doing it forever and just a guy who loves to collect cards and can find value where other people might not see it, I love graded cards because it gives you, all of us, a chance. It gives a guy who just started collecting cards yesterday or wanted to get back in the hobby today, can be like, what's a PSA 3 cost? What's a PSA 8 cost? What's a PSA 9? And look at the cards and make his own judgment, at least have a starting point and a legit price. Not just a Beckett saying, this card's worth $900 and doesn't matter the condition. It says near mint in there or something, but the card shops weren't like that. It wasn't like that. And if it was to you, that means you were way deeper in the hobby. I was young. I was a kid. I didn't get that knowledge. Your dad was in the hobby or something. Us others, just once graded came, it was the equalizer. I say it all the time. So I'm going to show you guys some cards, and I'm going to show you one of my greatest pickups ever to date. One that's so hard to find, as well centered as I found it, and with an image like it is, and just all the above, and the price I paid. And I have a run of 4 vintage cards here, and they all have to do with the home run record that I love. We got Babe Ruth 1954 Top Scoops card that I bought in person probably 5 or 6 years ago. This is the record he set in 1927. Babe hit 60. And then my collection goes on to include the next person, and that's who I'm going to show. And then as you can see some Aaron Judge and Babe Ruth. But I'm focusing right now on these vintage cards. And the first one I'm going to share is the 1962 Topps AL Home Run Leaders card. A card that is not easy to find centered at all. Not easy to find that has a really outstanding image and color of this card. This copy in particular looks like a solid candidate for a 7 or an 8 off of Eye Appeal. We'll flip over the back. The back qualifies for an 8 or a 9 because the centering's not bad. It's not great on the back, but it's doable for at least an 8. Look at the corners. This comes in at a 4. An 8 of this, I'm just guessing, has got to be way up there in the $400 range. This is a very popular, highly collected card because you have Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle and Harmon Killebrew on the same card, but this is the year that Roger Maris beat Babe Ruth. And this is the leaders card in that year. So this is the 62, so the year after, but with the 61 home run leaders card. Outstanding way to take advantage of the grading system we have in place. This cost, I think, this was the most expensive card that you're going to see right here. This was $100. I think you can get this for $64 in a 4 or less. But one that looks like this, give it to me. I'm paying over comps. Forget comps. We got to stop thinking about comps to a point. You know, just get an idea. I love graded cards because there's comps. There's rationale behind this. Next card is one that's not crazy sharp or anything, but it fits my collection perfectly and the price fit to a T. That is the 1962 Topps. They're not all crazy vibrant. This is a really nice image, really nice color. There's no creases in this card, and this is a 3 because of the corners, but look at the centering and the color and the image. Very inexpensive card. I want to say the $65 range. This was in an auction. The other one was a buy it now, but I made offers for that $100 home run leaders. Just a sick card, like Roger Maris. And these are I sold my rookie. I sold my rookie that I had for 25 years. I sold it because I realized that the one I had wasn't the copy for me, and I knew that a long time ago. It wasn't perfectly centered, and I saw that for years, and it kind of bothered me the way that color is on that one. But I sold it because I really love the home run chase. I love the cards that have to do with that. And here's another one. Take advantage of the grading scale we have. This card, another one. Really, really good eye appeal. Really good. Forget eye appeal. Let's go eye appeal and centering and corners. Like, eye appeal to me has to include everything. All the above. Corners, centering, the image. I want everything included. They all have to formulate a good looking card. If this was off-centered, it'd be dusted. I don't want an off-centered card, period. That's the first thing that turns me off on a card. I see a card that's off-centered, I will not purchase that card ever. Now, I don't have perfectly centered cards. This is not perfectly centered, but to the naked eye, it looks pretty darn near perfect. When you get the measuring tool out and you really start staring at it, there's slight issues. Very hard. I've only graded a couple that are in the 98 out of 100 scale as far as perfect centering. Only one that's 100. But this is a 4. This was like $68 or something. The centering on the back is insane. Old grade. Who cares about the grade? Who cares about when it was graded, guys? It doesn't matter. Just look at the card for your own eyes. If it looks faded because it was graded 10 years ago and it's been sitting in the sun, don't buy it. But if it looks good, it's been in a box for all these years, and it's a 4 now, I guarantee you this is a 4 now. Like, a 4 then is a 4 now if it looks like this. Let's use our eyes. And that's what I've learned to do. It's not a perfect card. There's this little white dot, which I wish wasn't there. But I didn't even see that when I was buying the card. And this card is just stunning. Now, the last card I want to share is one that is next level hard to find centered. One of the hardest cards in all of Topps to find centered. And I've thought about this for quite some time over the last 6 months and realize non-rookie, this is my favorite card from the 1960s, probably from any Topps set, period. That is a non-rookie. And that is this card right here. We're going to slow him down and bring him in. Roger Maris, super iconic, 1961 Topps. Really beautiful. Beautiful card. There are no creases in this. It looks like it came out of a pack yesterday. The gloss is still on it. Look at the centering on it. Centering is not perfect. It is pretty dang near perfect. It's probably like a 90 on my scale. 88 to a 92. I really got to get it down and get the thing out to measure this thing and kind of look at it really close. It's been on my desk for a week. I haven't entered it into my system because I'm just staring at it. Stunning card. Let's look at the back before I show you the grade. Now, this is one of those cards that PSA put in a weird holder. My guess is the card is larger than the normal 61 Topps cards by a slight bit. Wouldn't fit in the normal one. Or they just ran out of cases during the time. I don't know. But I paid up as far as comps go. I paid $80 for this, and it took me like 2 months of watching it, and he never messaged me, but I was giving him offers. I started at 65. Comps is around 55 for this grade. I paid $80. You could probably get a 4 for under $80, but it'll look super far off centered and nothing like this. This is a 2. This is how we take advantage of the grading system we have in place. And this is why I love grading. It is the great equalizer. This from this right here looks like a 10. This, if you look up 9s of this card, this one is better centered than most of the 9s out there. And the eye appeal from, this is 6 inches from the camera, is insane. Imagine from a foot from your face, you wouldn't even see, you would just see a perfect card. The corners are just insane. you got this right here. Like a rubber band mark or something like that is my guess. But this thing came out of a pack yesterday. Look at that. Glass and everything. So, graded cards, all said and done. Man, I love them. I think that they have a huge place in this hobby, and they're the reason the hobby is as popular as it is right now because of graded cards. And obviously their companies are trying to make money, and there's problems with them, but as a vintage collector, it's the best thing that ever happened. Period. People wouldn't be collecting vintage like me. I would be too scared still. I was buying dollar cards out of bins, like, until somebody pulled me aside and started talking to me about how I should be collecting vintage cards. I was just going to be shying away from the good stuff. So, and this is the leaders card, the new leaders card of Aaron Judge breaking the record. Add that. And then I got a collection going of Judge's cards right here. This one is the Japan version of Topps, number 25. I mean, I just can't get enough. And this is Judge and Babe Ruth next to each other. So, $20, 20. I think I had that raw $20. Oh no, this is $100. So dude, I'm telling you, graded cards for me, I just love them. I love everything about them. I love the labels. I love how they look like they're museum pieces. They look better than my personally graded cards, the way I do it, and I do it very nicely. These look better. They're encapsulated. They're worth the price of admission. That's what I gotta say right now. I love graded cards, whether they're making money, whether they're taking advantage of us. We just gotta be smarter than them and outsmart them. Look at those 4 cards together from that distance. Whew, that's all I gotta say. I rest my case. Done. Case closed. Video ending. Later.